What'd you do to your hair?
It's fucking light.
My son's sitting next to me.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
I've heard it before. Good afternoon.
Sorry.
He's still laughing, so don't worry about it.
Sorry, Jacob. How you doing?
Doing all right. How are you? Hi, Kristen.
You're muted.
Needed to mute the TV. I just said I'm sorry. I forgot I was logged in from pregame. Didn't mean to jump in.
I'm missing our live stream. Are they coming soon?
They should be.
Okay.
Let's see.
Small crowd today. Oh, here's a live stream. What are we looking at for players? Do we know?
They said Zach and Patrick, and then if possible, Kobe, Thad, or Kobe or Thad. And I just said, if I'll try for 3, definitely 2. So
Okay.
it'll be definitely Zach and Pat.
If at all possible, maybe Thad, just because he might provide a little seniority and levity to all this. I know we started off, we won 1, lost 3.
Yeah.
But he can hit the positives probably a little better than Kobe.
Did I say Kobe? Oh,
Yeah.
right. So it's like we'll definitely do, they said definitely Zach and Pat, possibly. If we fit a 3rd, they would want
good.
that.
Yeah.
Do you definitely want me to put him in?
No. I mean, 2, and if we get a 3rd, I'd vote for Thad.
That, okay.
Yeah. 2 should be okay.
All right, I'm gonna go get coach.
Thank you. See, there's the football stadium, and then just to the right's where the Pelicans play. And then that's downtown. And right on the Gulf there. It's actually a lake. Defensive player.
All right, Matt.
Hey, Billy.
Hey, Matt.
All right. You all set? I can let these folks in?
Sure.
Okay. Looks like a small crew, so we'll try to keep it moving. 1 second,
Okay.
please. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us here this afternoon. We've got Billy Donovan here with us now, so let's get started. If somebody wants to get us going with the question, we'll tip things off. KC, why don't you start, please?
Billy, I feel like we could ask you the same things that we did after the Lakers game. You obviously played very well, and it's a 1-possession game. What did you think of Zach's shot there, and how difficult is this in the context of how well you guys are playing?
Well, I mean, I think we are playing well. I mean, we're doing a lot of really good things. I've seen an enormous amount of growth in these guys. But like to take the next step, we have to learn how to win. And before you learn how to win, you have to learn, what forces you to lose or causes you to lose games. And for us, it's been a lot of things I believe we have control over. It is very, very difficult to win turning the ball over 21 times against an elite offensive team with scorers like Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, Lou Williams, and the guys they have, Morris. You can't. It's almost impossible. And I give our guys credit. I think it speaks to how efficient they were on offense that we could even be in the game. The other thing too is I thought we were fairly good not fouling in the first half, and we fouled entirely too much in the second half. Gave them 25 free throws, pretty significant free throw differential. The same thing happened in the Laker game, where we fouled too much. And then the third thing at times has been the rebounding. Those are inevitably things that get you beat. And I think that we have control over, how well, we can defend without fouling. I think we have control over taking care of the basketball and making good decisions with it, and understanding the importance of valuing the ball. And then I think that we could do. I thought Zubac in the first half really hurt us in the offensive glass, and he got some offensive rebounds. So, again, we're playing like you take those things out, like we're playing good basketball, like in terms of possessions and stuff. But we're shooting ourselves in the foot too much with a lot of things that I think we can do a much better job with.
I think just watching this team, it doesn't seem like the type of team that will have difficulty with this. But do you have a concern as a coach at all about a young team playing this well and then not getting the result you want at the end of the night?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're all gonna have to dig ourselves out of this. I do think that losing, can become kind of habitual and it can become a habit. And this is a young group that has not seen a lot of team success in this league. And they're going to be the ones that are going to have to turn it. And obviously we as coaches are a part of it too. And we've got to help, and we've all got to help. And we've all got to help each other, and we got to all pull together, and it's got to be everyone. But I'm, again, this is a strange time, playing the game with what's going on. But I do think that this is a group with great character. It's a really good working group. I believe they want to get better. I believe they want to improve. But they've got to get to a point where, they understand very, very clearly the things that go into winning at the highest level and the things that you have to do to win. And if you don't do those things well enough, you're going to get the same results. I've said this before. If you take teams, let's just say, with the 6th or 7th best record in the league last year, and you go down to the 25th or 28th team with the 28th best record, you're generally going to see a point differential, of about a -3 or 4. That's how small the margins are. And for us, as well as we've played, if we can clean up the turnovers and the fouling and the rebounding, we're going to put ourselves in a better position to win games. Right now, there's a difference, I think, between, you can lose a game where, you beat yourself. And I think in a lot of ways we beat ourselves, and we've got to get better of not doing that and understanding the stuff that's going to get us beat.
Thanks, Billy.
You're welcome.
Joe, go ahead with that next question.
Billy, Zach's had an unbelievable West Coast trip here, especially the last 2 games in LA. At the same time, though, at the end of the game, he's had that ball in his hand and a chance to, play hero. How do you explain to him, yes, I understand you have the hot hand, and yes, you are our best scorer, but at the same time, maybe there's better options? Or do you just teach it or tell him, hey, keep shooting it and learn how to win?
Yeah, I think it's a great question, Joe. I said, I think even before the season started, when I first got hired, it can't all be on his shoulders to kind of carry us home. I thought 2 things. One, on the side of the bounds, I think we were down by maybe, I don't know what it was. Maybe we were 5 or 4. And we ran him a screen up at the top. It was actually, it was a catch and shoot screening action. I actually thought he had a better look than the one when he put it on the floor and shot it. And he said he just kind of was trying to get in rhythm, because I said to him, I said, Zach, you were open when you caught it. And he said, yeah, but I really wasn't in rhythm, and that dribble helped me get in rhythm. It was fine. I think we needed to help him a little bit more on that last play, the shot that he took, that when we were down by 3. I totally agree with that. That was not a good possession. I was out of timeouts. I thought the guys did a pretty good job coming out of timeouts, doing what we asked them to do. The one thing we had talked about doing was trying to get up there and get a flat pick and roll in the middle of the floor to give him some space. I don't know if we really generated that. I didn't see the film, Joe, but I think we kind of, he was put into a tough situation that last shot. But to your point, down by 3, he can go get it when he can. And maybe, if he drives it to the basket, they're not going to help him pull off of anybody. But I think we needed to help him a little bit more on the very last shot, down 3 with whatever it was, 11.7 seconds.
Are moments like that what is the difference between very good and elite? I mean, learning that and learning how to finish games and the decisions to make late in games?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think Zach has done a really nice job, making some decisions. I really thought, Joe, even in the, the Laker game, I thought he really created some space and got a good shot for himself that he made. I thought the shot that he got in Portland was a tougher shot than the one that he had against the Lakers, So, again, the one thing that's great, with him is he has the ability to get a shot off. And sometimes when you're dealing with Kauai and Paul George and great length, that could be a feat in itself. I thought that he got a good shot off when we were down there with whatever it was, I don't know, 15, 18 seconds when he made that basket and cut the lead. And then we had a foul. I think he cut it to 1. But the last one, we got to help him a little bit more, in terms of freeing him. Now, once he's freed, then I think he's got to make good decisions, to your point, and he's got to generate something good. We were out of timeouts and we tried to, I knew they were going to pick him up full court. We tried to kind of get a flat screen in the middle of the floor. I didn't think that we did as good of a job as we needed to on that.
Thanks, Billy.
Thank you.
Darnell, go ahead with the next question, please.
Thanks, Matt. Billy, I had 2. The first, real quick, I just wanted to know what you got from the officials on that overturned call on Kauai against Patrick Williams underneath the basket.
Well, my argument on the call was that there was no conclusive evidence that he didn't foul him. And they said that, that they did not think watching it that he did foul him. I don't know how you can make that assessment when a guy's reaching over a guy's back like that, and they are not even talking about body contact, but they're talking about his hand hitting the ball. So that was the interpretation I got from them. Obviously, I did not agree with it. Generally, when there's, usually when you go to replay, you can see. I mean, I'm watching it. I did not agree with it. I thought the way he was reaching over his back, whether or not his hand hit the ball or hit his hand, or whether his hand did or did not foul him, he was over the guy's back, in my opinion. Now, maybe they deemed that as not a foul. Okay, then it's not a foul, but. I did not agree with how they, internalized or how they reviewed the tape and the conclusion they came on that. That's just me, but I'm probably wrong in that.
And then the second thing for me is you mentioned a lot about the self-inflicted mistakes, but the 3 that you guys had in the final 3 minutes, the offensive rebound by Morris that led to the 3-pointer by Batum, the 4-point play when I think it was Thad who fouled him. And then for Kobe to come down and turn it over, leading to that fast break layup by Lou Williams. What went wrong in that sequence, do you feel? What did you see?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, we're playing from behind and, in a lot of ways, we're dead in the water. I give our guys a lot of credit for fighting their way back and at least having the ball to tie the game, with whatever it was, 11 seconds, 12 seconds. I think in the middle of the floor, we tried to get Lou Williams in a middle pick and roll with Kobe, just coming down in transition. And, Lou Williams jumped out there and kind of went after the ball and poked it away. And, again, that's one of those things we've got to do a better job of taking care of the basketball. And I think on Thad's close out there, I think he was trying to close. I don't know if his momentum kind of carried him into Batum, but, it was a tough play. I mean, those are 2 self-inflicting plays. It's kind of the same thing with the, I forget who we hit across the head there in Sacramento, Buddy Hield. I mean, that's 4 points. and it's hard to overcome that. Then you couple that with the turnovers. It's just hard to overcome it. And but our guys are competing and battling. I give our guys, like I said, early in the year, they would hang their head and they would get frustrated and they wouldn't want to compete and battle. And they're fighting back. And I give them credit for not showing when he quit, because that steal by Lou Williams and that layup being down by 5, it can kind of take your spirit away, and it didn't. Our guys were really good in the huddles, but those are some of the self-inflicting things that I think we can control and do a better job on.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Rob, go ahead. You got the next one.
Hey, Billy, you might have just answered this a little bit, and obviously you've talked about stuff to improve on from this game specifically, but I'm wondering, just kind of as you reflect on the West Coast trip in general, what have you learned about this team over the last week?
Well, it's hard for me, I think, for anybody, and even the guys, it's a lot of times you can get totally wrapped up in the result of did you win or did you lose? And I think we have to look at, are we getting better and are we improving? Obviously Anthony Davis did not play last game. We've obviously had some guys out too. The Clippers were full strength. Portland was full strength. Sacramento lost Fox midway through the maybe first quarter. So I feel like we've played good teams. That's a pretty good barometer of where you're at. And we've done a lot of good things. I think we've made a lot of strides offensively in terms of just I think guys are a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more fluid, we're a little bit more cohesive. Obviously the turnovers is a major, major factor, a major problem. I think defensively, I think we as coaches need to keep helping them with different schemes and different coverages, because there's times where we have, challenging matchups. I think our guys endured a lot of minutes over this trip because of, Otto being out, basically last game and this game, shortened numbers. The guys have done a great job battling and competing and fighting. I don't personally love the number of minutes that Kobe and Zach are getting, but we're kind of dealt with that hand at this point in time. I think we have a lot to build off of, but we're going to have to make the strides. We've made really good strides in terms of execution on both ends of the floor. We've done a good job there, but we're going to have to become a consistent team that takes care of the basketball, that defends without fouling and rebounds. If we can't do those 3 things on a regular nightly basis, it's really, really hard to win. And we're going to have to be able to do a better job of that. Now, the one thing I feel like we've done the last couple games is we've shot high percentage we shot a high percentage from the field and from 3, but I think it's because we really have moved the basketball. And I think we've done a good job. The Sacramento game, that back-to-back was a tough one. Physically, but we've done a good job of moving the ball and playing off of each other a lot better than we did, I think, maybe those first 2 or 3 games. And I could see us starting to play a little bit better at Washington in those 2 games. So we've made some strides, but we got to do things that are going to be. Listen, I don't know what we scored. 128 points, was it? Maybe we scored 128 points on 21 turnovers. So and again, we got to get better defensively as well. We've given up way too many points the last couple of games. So I think there's a lot of things we got to improve upon, but I also think we've made some progress and we've made some growth as a team.
Thank you, Billy.
All right, Coach, that's our last one for you. So that's all we got for today. Thanks for your
Okay.
time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, sit tight, guys. We'll have Patrick Williams here in a second.
Listen, do you understand why I was getting riled up in the timeout?
Yeah.
I wanted you to fight the guy.
Yeah.
You just,
All right, Matt.
All right. Patrick, how are you, man?
I'm doing well.
Good, good. Good to see you. We've got a few folks here tonight that want to ask you some questions. We'll start with Rob Schaefer with NBC Sports. Go ahead, Rob.
Hey, Patrick, who'd Billy want you to fight?
Kauai. That during the third quarter, Kauai, they kind of ran pretty much the same play kind of 3-4 times in a row, and he just came off a hit, kind of 3-4 threes in a row, and kind of got him going. And I was there. I was contesting it. I think I might have even tipped one, and it still went in. So he called a timeout, and it was kind of just figured out. I mean, it wasn't a game plan to kind of stop that. I mean, great players, I mean, you just gotta find a way, and that's kind of what he wanted me to do. So that's what he meant when he said just fight him.
That's another big time of defensive assignment for you. You've had a few. How do you think you fared in this one? Obviously, his stat line is going to be incredibly gaudy, but how did you think you fared in this one? And you've talked a lot about learning from each one. What do you think you learned from Kauai?
I learned a lot from Kauai. I think a lot of guys know this, but that was or is my favorite player. I watched a lot of his film, just growing up and things like that. So I learned everything from him, really, just from the mid post, kind of how he, even when he wasn't involved in the play, he was still telling guys where to be, things like that. And he was just always involved, even if he wasn't technically involved in the play. So things like that. And then just defensively, how to use your hands and your arms to get deflection, get steals like that. And that kind of translates to, teammates and things like that. And then he started going on a run and started to get stopped. So like I said, I mean, I've learned a lot, honestly, just 11 games in, and I'm just going to try to continue to learn.
Thanks.
Mike, you got the next one. Go ahead.
Hey, Patrick, I know a lot of fans and a lot of media like to compare you to or use Kawhi Leonard as a comparison for what you could be. What do you think about that relationship? Do you see any similarities between you, or do you use him as a model of what you want to become?
Part of the reason why he was my favorite player is because I did see a lot of similarities. I tried to pick up on things kind of that he does. I've been trying to do that since high school. In my year in college, I try to do it even more. So, yeah, for sure. I mean, I definitely see the potential that I have to be a player like him. Definitely like a two-way player that can get stops, guard the best player, and then also be, a reliable offensive talent. So I talk a lot about being a two-way player, and that's kind of, he's kind of the model of a great two-way player. So I definitely look up to him and his game, and it was just a blessing to be out there and play against him today.
Okay, thanks.
AC, go ahead.
Patrick, I wanted to ask you about your three-point shooting. It's obviously a longer distance in college, and you've looked comfortable shooting it. Has that adjustment been easy for you? Have you been surprised at how well you've shot it through 11 games?
It's just reps. For sure, it's different. You got guys heavily contesting now. So in college, it was kind of just a hand. Now you got guys really, jumping at you and things like that. So I just think the longer the season goes, the more comfortable I get, then the better I get with it. And then I've got guys that love to, after practice, shoot with me. Pretty much all the guys I've shot with, they, give me tips. Just yesterday, I was talking to GT, and I kind of take like a rhythm dribble. And just yesterday, he was telling me that he won't have time for that, and we got up a lot of shots, just catch and shoot, quick release. So that definitely helped today, and that was kind of something that I focused on. So I think as the season goes on, not only me but the rest of the guys will shoot better as well, just because we get more reps.
Darnell, you're up. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Patrick, I was going to ask you about the three-point shooting too, but since you just addressed it, I do want to know from you, with the matchups that you've had lately, not that anything in the NBA is going to be easy, but do you feel like, it can't get any harder than it's been in these first 11 for you, given the matchups that you've had, and the next 61 could just be a little bit smoother now that you've gotten some of those marquee guys out of the way?
Kind of like you said, it's the NBA. Every guy guard has a chance to go out there and kind of get 30. Whether it's Tim Hardaway from Dallas or LeBron James. They all have the ability, the talent, and the skill to go out there and just impose their will offensively. So I mean, every game is a different challenge. I wouldn't say one is harder than the other, but I mean, it's definitely different every game. You just gotta kind of learn how to take it game by game, approach each game as that game, you know, with its own obstacles, its own course, and then when that game's over, just be able to lock into the next game plan, to the next guy that I have to guard. So that's pretty much what I'm learning, just how to lock in game after game after game after guarding so many different players. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much been the main focus.
And then just one more on Kauai, specifically, just because he was your role model from a basketball standpoint. What was that like for you going up against him? What was it like being on the court with him for you?
I mean, on the court, you really don't get a chance to really look at him as your idol or the guy that you look up to. I mean, he's the guy that I have to guard. So I mean, coming to the game, it wasn't any jitters or anything. He was just another guy that I had to guard. But I mean, for sure, probably on a plane ride back, I probably just start thinking like, man, I really played against Kauai Leonard, a guy that I've seen on film for so many years. I watched so much film of him. So, and I mean, I did the same thing with LeBron. I mean, coming to the game, it was just, I got to guard LeBron. But after the game, it was kind of time to sit there and kind of sit back and kind of just reflect on where I am and the journey to get here. So it's been a blessing for sure, but I haven't really even thought about him as the Kauai Leonard yet. He's just another guy I had to guard.
Did you get to say something to him? Did he say anything to you? Any cool moments out there?
Pretty much the same as LeBron. Kind of after the game, he just kind of told me to keep working, keep going. He kind of liked how I play, and obviously so. But I mean, he's kind of like him. So he said he kind of liked how I played, and both him and Paul George kind of gave me some good words. So I mean, I'll definitely hold those and just keep working, like they said.
All right, thank you.
Rob, it looks like you got the last question for Patrick. Go ahead.
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, Patrick, I just wanted to ask, 11 games, 11 starts in your NBA career. It seems like you've been thrown into the fire, straight out the gate a lot. I'm just wondering kind of, do you appreciate that approach to kind of the early part of your career, your development? And what's your relationship like with Billy as your first NBA coach as he kind of puts you in these positions? Like what are his tactics for doing that?
Well, I mean, first of all, just to talk about, 11 games, 11 starts. I mean, you just got to take it for what it is. I couldn't really think a lot about, man, I'm thrown into the fire, man. I didn't have a summer league, man. I barely had a preseason. I mean, you just got to roll with it. So I think I did a great job of that, along with, my teammates. They've kind of kept me straight. They don't let me think about what I didn't have, but just look at the opportunities that I have and focus on what I have to do. And then as far as Billy, I mean, we have definitely a close relationship. I mean, early you heard him talking about telling me to fight Kauai. So I mean, we just have that kind of relationship where he gets the best out of me, and I trust him. I mean, it was times in the huddle where he might yell at you, but you got to know that he just wants to win, and he wants you to get better. He wants the best for you. So I mean, we definitely have that relationship. To where anything he says, I know is to get me better on or off the court. So I mean, he's really a good guy too. So I mean, it's easy to listen to him and kind of pick up the things that he says. So
thank you.
Casey, why don't you go with the last one here, please?
Yeah, sorry. Real quick, Patrick, you mentioned the encouraging words from Paul, George, and Kauai. Did you happen to see what LeBron said about you after the game the other night? And if so, what was your reaction?
I haven't seen it completely. One of our assistant coaches kind of showed me a little bit before we ran out today, but I haven't really seen it fully. And I was kind of in game mode, so I wasn't really paying attention to what he was showing me. It was on his phone, so I wasn't really paying attention. But I really haven't seen what he said.
Well, he said he was very complimentary of you. So do you have a reaction to LeBron James complimenting your game?
I mean, just that's another one of those moments where I mean, I'll probably look back on it on the plane and just realize how blessed and be grateful for it. I mean, to me, like I said, it was just a guy that had the guard, but kind of playing right back, I'll be able to look at him as LeBron James, one of the greatest players to ever play the game. So for him to come, I'm not sure exactly what he said, but for him to compliment my game in any way is a blessing. So I'm just grateful.
Thank you.
All right, Patrick, thanks for your time. That's all we got right now. So
Thank
we'll
you.
see you soon. And please stand by and we'll have Zach here shortly. Thank you.
All right, Matt.
All right, Zach, thanks for joining us, man. All right, let's get going with Zach. Zach's got a few minutes for us before he has to get to the bus. So let's start with you, Joe. Go ahead.
Zach, I know you're confident with every shot you take, and one of the things Billy talked about is, finishing games and the team giving you help. That last shot, the air ball, looking back at it, have you had a chance to look at it in film? Did you see any other options, or were you going to take that the whole time?
I got 10 threes. I'm going to come down and try to make a play. I got a clean look. I just didn't get enough legs onto it. If I would have hit the front rim and missed, or if I fucking airball, it's the same, same difference. So, try to help us win, man. That's what I try to do. Obviously, I don't try to go out there and miss that shot. I hit the one before. Obviously, I'm going to come down and try to hit that one too.
I know you're not big into moral victories. What do you take away from these last 2 games in LA against 2 elite teams from the Western Conference?
I mean, we're competing with them. We're beating them at times. It's a back and forth battle. We don't have the same room for error. So, some of our mistakes, compound, more than theirs. And it's just having to take it down the stretch right now. We're going to be in a lot of close games, and I feel like we're not learning to, manage that, but we just got to make more timely plays than them if you want to, win those games.
Thanks, man.
Mike, go ahead with your question.
Yeah, Zach, it's been a pretty remarkable week for you. You guys have had, you've had put up some great numbers. You've had multiple chances at game-winning shots. The guys have been competing against good teams. Do you feel like this is like kind of an area that you haven't been in your career very much? And do you feel like you're learning from these experiences?
Area of me taking last second shots?
Well, just the whole thing, the whole week of the team being competitive, coming, you getting a chance at clutch situations, those kind of things.
I mean, you guys know this. I hit a lot of clutch shots last year. I gave us like 3 or 4 game winners last year. I had one this year with Golden State. They came down, hit a good shot. I'm comfortable in those situations. I think you guys know that I've had numerous amounts of those, and I've had a lot where I've missed as well. But, we were competitive last year. We're competitive this year. We just got to learn how to start putting those into wins. You're not going to go out there and hit every game-winning shot, but you don't want to have it be a game-winning situation every time either.
Well, it does seem like you guys are more competitive than you have been since this rebuild started. And you've also got more veterans on the floor than you've had here in the past. Is that making a difference?
Yeah, I mean, we're out here and we're trying to go out there and we expect to win every game. I think that's the first approach that's we have to have. And, we've been showing, I don't even flash it. We've been playing 35 out of 48 minutes and, we just need a couple more, a couple more stops, a couple more makes, less turnovers. It depends on the game, but today was turnovers and, I think we'll start pulling some of these out.
Okay, thanks.
Arnold, go with the next one, please.
Zach, you mentioned the turnovers just now. That's my question. What's it going to take for you guys to clean those up?
I mean, we're making some mental errors, including myself. I had a couple bad passes, dribbled the ball off my foot. And I know a couple of times we were just throwing the ball away or being indecisive. So you can't have those, especially, when you're playing a team of that caliber. I think I said earlier, our room for error is less. So you take some of those possessions away, at least we get if we don't have a turnover, at least you get a shot on the rim, a chance to score or get fouled or something like that. So you take those away, I think it's going to be a different game.
And then obviously, not to just focus on the last shot, that third quarter was something else. I mean, all of us sitting at home watching it in the middle of a Bears playoff game at that. I mean, what's that like for you when you get in that zone, especially against a guy like Kauai where he's going right back at you?
You're just playing basketball. You understand the situation. Obviously, he did too. I'm trying to help my team win the same way he is, and I think he hit a couple more than me. It was back and forth. If I hit one, he hit one, or I think a couple other guys hit one, and it was just like we're taking the ball out the net, jog down the other side, and come down. So we were trying to get a stop. They were too, and you get caught up in the moment sometimes. It just happens. So it's basketball. It's fun.
Thank you.
All right. Zach, thanks for your time. I know you got to get going. So that's it for this evening.
Thank you.
See you guys soon. Thanks, everybody.